But for now, we're done with this episode, so let's smoothly transition over to something that I also think was mostly pretty straightforward, although probably the better of the two stories of this week, in my opinion, which is meat. I just realized that we're doing meat and potatoes.
That's why
Yeah,
I call this
and
podcast Meat and Potatoes.
and and the writer of Meat also wrote the series one Torchwood episodes Out of Time and Captain Jack Harkness, and her last episode of Torchwood is immediately after this one.
Huh. Which, that makes sense knowing that it's that same woman, because the thing that I like most about this episode is all the human drama stuff, and that was the deal with those previous two episodes. Like, she's really, really good at the grounded, emotional, like, relationship stuff.
General thoughts? This one, I really don't have any real strong feelings on either. I just know I don't like Glenn. Oh, God, I forgot his name.
Reese.
Reese. Glenn and Reese. I do not like them together as a couple. They feel kind of toxic.
Really? That's interesting, because they're my favorite part of the episode.
I knew you would disagree on that, but there's just something about them that does not work for me.
This episode is sort of like, in a way, retroactively addressing the problems people had with them as a couple in series one.
It's weird because I both do and don't agree with that. Well, like, the big point of this episode is that, like, she's been keeping a secret from him, and that has been damaging their relationship because secrets always do. And it's like, on that level, there's a toxicity. And, like, my thing is, I don't think of them as toxic in this episode, but for that to be the case, I have to, like, separate this from series one, because Reese just feels like a different person. He was very, very toxic and very controlling in series one, and something just changed, I guess. And unlike the relationship between the main characters, like the Torchwood team, which changed significantly between series one and two for what I felt like were earned in story reasons, Reese just kind of feels like someone was like, we made him too unlikable. Like, his and Gwen's relationship is supposed to kind of be anchoring her emotionally, when this episode makes a big deal out of, like, she's the only one of them who has this sort of thing. The whole Torchwood team can't be comprised of just people who, like, have no relationships outside of each other. That's not gonna work out. She needs that. Do you think maybe, like, in conceptualizing this episode, they look back and they were like, does that really work when we made Reach such a douche? Like, let's just make him less of a douche.
My biggest problem with him, he still is always like yelling and getting people's faces all the time. It's just unnecessarily angry all the time, so it makes me just not like him, on top of the stuff that he's done before and a few other things that will come in the future that I do remember that make me just do not like the guy.
He is very shouty, but in this episode, I think it's warranted. Well, like, he shouts at three people in this episode. He shouts at his coworker. Was like, he thinks he's talking to the police, and they're like, well, now they're gonna think that I'm guilty of a crime, which is, a pretty decent reason to shout. He shouts with his screaming match with Gwen, which I think is really great and a really well-written scene and really well acted.
Yes.
Also, I just want to say they still got her computer screen with them on it.
And
in the background while they're screaming at each other.
Continuity, and also probably put there on purpose for, like, symbolic reasons.
But it's still very funny. I love that they're screaming at one another and they're looking so happy on the screen the whole time.
But it's like, I always kind of love scenes that are just characters, like, viciously arguing with each other, because, like, in both fiction and reality, I feel like there's kind of an electric mood to those kind of arguments, where it's, like, really, really tense, and you feel bad that it's happening, and yet it's also kind of funny and entertaining to watch and take.
It's like a reality TV show.
Yeah.
But more entertaining than a reality TV show.
Because it's
also both are scripted.
I love it where it's like, you want to know? Fine. I catch aliens. It's like, come on, you're having a go at me. It's like,
and then Reese just still doesn't believe her, and it's like, I'll piss off.
I like in this universe, we mentioned many times that aliens have basically walked the streets, and Reese is like, aliens? Nah, that was just the water got poisoned or something.
Well, as Jack said in the very first episode, yeah, well, your boyfriend's stupid.
Yep.
That scene, along with them like fighting over whether he's gonna come on the mission or not, it's like I really buy that the two of them love each other. Unlike a lot of stories where like you have the couple fighting or whatever, especially when it's like one of them is finally getting let in on the whole big masquerade or whatever.
Hmm.
I don't really take either of their sides. I am like completely getting where both of them are coming from throughout the whole episode. I understand why Gwen is like, there's a reason I cannot tell you these things. And Reese is like, yeah, but the fact that you're keeping this secret is driving us apart. He's not wrong. That is what's happening. And later, when he finds out, and they're like, you can't come on the mission, Reese. Yeah, I understand where she's coming from. You're just a normal guy who's going up in this alien stuff. Meanwhile, he's like, I'm your way in. There's no way that you pull this off without me. And also, you could die. So maybe I'm entitled to share in that risk with you. I get it. I get where they're both coming from, and I find them both totally sympathetic.
I
A
just
little bit of
think-
trivia. One of the two brothers that runs the alien torture meat processing plant would later go on to play John Constantine in the CW verse.
Mhm.
Huh.
You don't recognize him because he has black hair instead of the dyed dirty blonde.
Yes, I don't know if you saw my posts in Boris's group, Nick. I was making fun of the terrible hair.
What, in this episode?
Yes, I have to tag you in it. He looks completely different here.
Even just by the face.
Yeah, he has real blonde hair in Constantine. He's kind of good looking. Here he just looks kind of sticky.
Well, he's supposed to be playing a villain,
Yeah.
so
He's supposed to be playing a really scumbag.
That's maybe another element in which these two episodes are kind of similar, like this and the Centauran story, where it's like this one also has its share of elements that just feel like kind of unexplored, or like like the villains in this episode, they're just kind of there to be bad guys. There's not really all that much to them. Just like the Centauran episode kind of had like environmental, like air pollution theme that's not really a theme and it's just kind of a plot point and the episode doesn't really commit to saying anything about it. Here
Mhm.
we've got like livestock and animals and like taking this thing and like it's a living creature, it's a sentient creature, and yet we're just treating it like it's meat and nothing else.
But they do have that one scene with Jack kind of feeling sorry for it.
Yeah, we do talk about it. It's just I wonder, like the episode maybe felt like it could have said a little bit more than it does.
Yeah.
Where it's like this guy, this villain guy, is like a stand-in for like the meat industry, but we
Mhm.
don't actually end up saying anything, even like implicitly about that. It's just kind of like this is a bad thing that happened, and now it's over.
Yeah, they don't do a very good job with the political commentary in both of these stories, sadly.
Also, am I dumb,
Hmm?
or are there like the villain guy had a brother, right? And he just disappears off the face of the episode like halfway through.
Going to
well, no, he gets tasered by Yanto, and he's the one that's more concerned about the pain suppressants being strong enough for the creature to not suffer. But at the same time, he is an accomplice.
Yeah, I mean, they have the two brothers, and then they have the third guy who's got the glasses and stuff, and he's like, I really don't want to be doing this. Like, this thing is in agony, and it's like, I didn't want to have any part of this, and he also gets tasered. But I feel like the two brothers could have just been one character. Like, I don't think there's really anything gained by having two of them.
Yeah, I honestly forgot about both of them.
And like especially when you have the one at the end who's like, I'm not gonna let it go, this is like the one thing that I have that's fine that I've made for myself. Okay, that's like the barest implications of a potentially interesting character motivation. I wish we had the time to do more with it, but whatever.
Problem comes in at the last 10 minutes, so it feels like a last minute dash to throw in some depth, but because it's so apparent it's very last minute, it comes across very hollow.
Yeah, and like I get it. We only had the one episode's worth of time, and this episode is not really about that. That's just the plot skeleton on which to hang all of the Reese and Gwen stuff. And that stuff works, so I'm not going to complain too much. And also, the scene at the end with them is great, where it's like, and again, this is part of why I say Reese just feels like they're writing him differently. Where like Gwen has this line where she's like, Reese is the most honest man I've ever met. And earlier, I would have doubted that. like a lot. But then when they have that scene at the end where he's like, I used to look up at the sky and I'm like, yeah, it looks like it's gonna be raining, man. It's like, well, now I'm gonna look up and I'm gonna think about all this stuff, and you don't have to worry about me telling anybody. He gets a call on his phone. He barely even has to switch gears just to be like, oh yeah, nothing happened. Oh, what, really? Oh wow, that's a surprise. In that moment, like, you get it. Like, you can trust Reese to keep the secret. And it's like,
Which
it's a
makes the moment when Gwen stands up to Jack about retconning Reese all the more satisfying.
Yeah, I'm with Gwen in that moment where it's like, one, Reese has proven himself trustworthy. He's proven that for all of his faults, he wants to be like Gwen's partner. He wants them to have an equal relationship where they're both sacrificing the same amount. And like, he's generally proven to be a pretty good guy. And also, just like, again, we've been establishing since episode 1 of this show, all of these people are maladjusted weirdos because they don't talk to anyone outside of each other. And Gwen is like kind of the heart of the team and the one with the most empathy because she has connections outside of Torchwood. And no one else has that. And by retconning Reese, it would kind of be like harming or killing that part of herself.
She would become like the rest of the weirdos.
Yeah, it's really in her best interest and the team's best interest that she doesn't do that.
It's in the best interest of the audience that we don't see her crying over eating pizza again.
We still blame the pineapple for that.
Oh man, that scene was good.
Just insert that clip right here.
I'm gonna have to after that.
It also feeds into the thing of just like the power dynamic and the whole thing with Jack. Throughout this whole series, people have been like going behind Jack's back and sort of fighting him on stuff. And rarely a day has gone by without Jack having to get up in someone's face. It's like, I'm in charge. I know what I'm talking about. Listen to me. Eventually, the way things always have worked out up to this point is that Jack does that and he asserts his authority, and he's either proven right or he takes charge, and ultimately he's the party who, if not gets what he wants, at least is proven to have been correct in some way. Here, I feel like this is the first time, really, where someone has just gone up to Jack and be like, no, I'm not doing what you say, period, the end. You are going to listen to me and acquiesce to what I want. And he's like, fine.
It really does show how far Jack has come as a leader, because if this was series 1, Gwen would have been fired and retconned right there on the spot.
Yeah.
But because End of Days happened before this, Jack is a bit more relaxed.
And it shows how much he's come to rely on Gwen emotionally. He cannot picture the team without her at this point. And he's like, fine, if I have to bend or break my own rules so that you stick around, I guess I'll do it.
Yes, because we have to have you because you're the only person that has a conscience around here.
Although, another point I like about this episode, my man Owen is really improving with the whole, like, having emotions thing. The mercy killing that he does on the creature.
Still feeling super bad about it.
Yeah, and, like, he, out of everyone, is the one who's like, Reese is a good guy, he's a good man, we should maybe not let him get killed. Yeah, Owen, you're making real progress, man. I'm proud of you.
You little psycho.
Do we think that Owen is just ridiculously dense, like dense as a brick wall, with like how he's reacting to Tosh? Or is he deliberately just not engaging with her on that level because the last time that he opened his heart up to someone, he got it broken, and now he doesn't want to get hurt again, but he also doesn't want to hurt her feelings by flat rejecting her?
I think the problem lies in that he's treated some relationships as a joke for the majority of his life, like one night stand after one night stand, and it's just hard for him to process that anyone would be interested in him with having a real proper relationship.
True, but then also he's had one, and like he had that,
and it nearly broke him.
Yeah. And like, so I don't think he's just that dense. I think he knows what Tasha's doing, and he doesn't want either of them to get hurt. So he's like, I'm just not gonna touch that.
It kind of reveals he always knew she has a crush on him and stuff like that. And I think he just doesn't care.
But also, just like with this episode and the last couple episodes, again, he's gotten way better. I think we're past the Owen who just doesn't care about people in general, doesn't care about Taj. I think he definitely cares about her feelings at this stage, and that's why he's not just saying, like, it's never gonna happen, just stop trying. I
Mhm.
think he thinks the way that he spares his feelings and her feelings is if he just pretends like nothing's happening.
I can't say anything more because of spoilers, so we'll get to that.
We'll just wait for the next 2 episodes where it's touched on a lot more.
I know this much. A lot is about to go down.
Yeah, when we get to the episode reset, the life of the Torchwood team starts going down the toilet real quick.
It goes down like poopy. But yeah, it's just in general, I think this is a pretty strong episode. I really enjoyed it, and it's brung me around on Reese. I really hope that Lucy's portents do not come to pass and I end up disliking him again later. But for now, for this episode, I think he's a cool guy.
I still hate him. That's all I got to say
Yeah.
about this episode. I really don't have like real strong feelings on this one. It was just kind of lots of arguing and a whale monster, and we don't really talk about that. So
For me, I connect with Owen the most in the later half of series 2, and the reason why I can't get into that is because spoilers.
we can't talk about anything yet.
So in that case, for now, we're done. And
Yeah.
I'm actually going to watch the next episode right now. And then hopefully watch a lot of The Expanse because, surprise, we're going to be talking about that show.
Yay.
Because I love the experience, and I've been getting on these two to watch it for some time now.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't complain about because I get on you guys' cases to watch a lot. So I'm going to do my duty. So signing off.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.